Yeah, my breaking point was, and there was a lot of time, like this doesn't just happen like this. It was a lot of things.
It was the final straw that broke the camel's back.
The final straw.
Yeah.
So I remember coming in, it was a Saturday. I was off Thursday, Friday. I come in Saturday morning, and the unit that I had always worked, and I see that there was a name on there that was a Korean name. And I was like, oh crap, there's never a Korean person in jail. And the reason why I was excited, I lived over there for 3 years. So
right.
I was going to just say, like, talk to him in Korean. Like, I just wanted to, because I wanted to know why he was in there. Because it's like Koreans Asians in general around here, you don't see them come into jail. So it was like, oh, I have to see what's going on with this guy. So all the inmates, as they started to wake up, started coming out and telling me that he's in the hole, the Korean guy. And I'm like, he's in the hole for what? And they're like, they found a shank in his cell when you were off, but it's not his shank. Okay. And I'm hearing this from gang members, white, black, Spanish, everybody. You know, it's not just one group looking out for him. It's
a consistent story.
All 120.
Well, he probably didn't have a group.
Exactly. So they all came out, and it was wrong. They knew it wasn't his shank. So I start to ask.
So strangely enough, there is a code of ethics in prison.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to stuff like this. What's right is right. So, and that's what I kept saying. So, and this is a pretty crazy story, but I'm asking, like, well, what happened? So what it was there was this guy who was a blood who lived in that cell for 2 years. His nickname was Wild Child, and he got moved to Luzerne County. And then the next day they put the Korean guy in there. So when they searched the cell, the guy that went to Luzerne County left a shank underneath the bunk, not in the guy's, it wasn't in the Korean guy's property. It was like stuffed underneath this metal thing, and they happened to find it. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll get him out, because that's ridiculous. He shouldn't be down in the hole. So it happened on the 3 to 11 shift. So I stay late that day. I go and talk to the sergeant that put him in the hole, and I go, hey, that Korean guy that you put in the hole. He goes, haha, yeah, I know it wasn't his. It was Wild Child's. And I'm like, so then why did you put him in the hole if you know that already? And he's like, well, he's got to go through the process, and he'll have his hearing on Monday or something like that. It's Saturday. And I'm like, well, I just go let him out. It's not his. I said, I talked to all 120 inmates, and I'll put my name on it. I'm a gang intelligence officer. Like, I investigated the whole thing. It's not his shank.
Yeah.
Plus, it would, not only that, I forgot this part, the shank would have taken like 2 weeks to make, because it came from, and he just moved in there. You know what I mean?
Within a day or so.
Within 1 day. And they just went in there and
That's
searched
like going into his cell and being like, man, where'd you find time to make this peach cobbler?
Exactly. Like, it came from a big tray that was...
That's how retarded this is. Okay.
And the tray is this big, and you have to grind it all the way down to make it into a plastic shank. So anyway, even if you broke it, it would still take a week at least. So anyway, yeah, I know. And he's laughing. And I'm like, well, it's not funny. Like, just go let him out. Well, we has to wait till Monday. So, and then he points at the lieutenant. So I go to the lieutenant. Oh yeah, we'll see. Blah, 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 just spinning me, right? So I'm like, whatever. Like,
Lip service. This
had happened countless amount of times. Guys going to the hole that didn't belong down there. Okay. Right. So I leave, and I'm just aggravated, right? And there ends up being a fight. So I bring the guy to the hole that fought, and I see the Korean guy in the hole in the one cell. So I go over to him and I say hello to him in Korean, and he comes running over to me. He doesn't speak any English, and and guess what he's in jail for, by the way?
What?
He overstayed his visa. Yeah. He was here legally, overstayed his visa, just never updated it. He had the 2-year, immigrant visa.
And now he's in the hole for a shank made in record time.
Yep.
Yeah.
So he really didn't commit a crime. Guy doesn't speak any English. Yeah, he overstayed his visa, and I'm not okay with that either. But he's not a criminal, like right. Running drugs or doing stuff like that. He just overstayed his visa. It's a paperwork thing. They'll get it fixed. He'll be back out. So anyway, he's begging me. Can barely speak English, but he's begging me, trying to explain to me that.
What's he say? Can you say in Korean what he was saying to you?
Just like he was saying, like he can speak a little bit of English, and then it was mixed in with Korean. Yeah. So he was basically saying, like, please, like, like, please help me, which is like Juseo something. So I knew he was saying please
was
something.
He crying?
He had, like, it was like in tears, kind of. You know what I mean? And there's people scream. The hole's crazy. You have a lot of crazy people down there, and they're yelling. They're fucking blah, 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 all night. So, but he's like really scared. So I was like, hey, give me a couple of days, and I'll get you out of here. And he was like, couple days, and I'm like, it's the best I got. You know what I mean? So. But now I saw his face. Now I met him, right? So I'm like, fuck this. So I go back. I'm like, just let him out right now. I go to the lieutenant. And he was laughing too, by the way, when I first went in there. I forgot that part. He was laughing.
Lieutenant was.
Thought it was funny.
Yeah.
So I'm going, just let him out. Just let him out. Like, you're the lieutenant. You can go down there and let him out right now. He goes, all right, you know what? I'll do it tomorrow. I'm not going to do it yet. I'll do it tomorrow.
Right. Which would be Sunday.
Which would have been Sunday.
Yeah.
I go, whatever. I leave. I come in the next day. I stay again for a couple hours onto the next shift for overtime. I go in the office. The lieutenant's not in there, but that sergeant was. And I go, hey, is he, where's the lieutenant at? Oh, he's actually in the hall right now. He's letting him out. I go, okay, tell him I said thank you, and I'm out of here. Went home. Come in the next morning. It's Monday. I look on the computer to see where he's at, and he's down in the hole still. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Right.
I'm like, motherfucker. So I call the hole, and I'm like, hey, did the lieutenant come down there last night? And they look in the book, and they're like, yeah, it said he came down there to interview some like asshole gang member, right? And I was like, so he went down there, had all the time in the world to do it, and he fucking didn't do it. So now I'm mad. I'm like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm telling, right? Now I don't tell on anybody, by the way, honestly. But this was too much. I can't take it anymore.
But what's right is right.
What's right is right. And that's what I kept saying. And all my coworkers were saying, who gives a fuck? It's an inmate. And I'm like, I give a fuck. It's a human being. What's right is right. And they're like, dude, you're just blah, 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 blah. You're out of your mind. And I'm like, no, like, I can't take this anymore. This happens all the time. So I called the lieutenant.
And it's personal to you because of Korea.
Yeah, in a way it is. Really personal. Yeah, absolutely, man. Like, and I told him I was going to get him out. I can see his face saying thank you and all this stuff. And he didn't get out. So, because after he said, I'll get him out tomorrow, I forgot this part. I went back down to the hole before I left and said, you're getting out tomorrow, not a couple of days. And he goes, thank you, thank you, thank you. And he never got out the next day.
So you've lied to him twice.
Twice.
Yeah.
So Monday, I realized he's still there. I call the lieutenant that does the hearings to decide if they're going to stay down there or not. And I told him the whole story. He was laughing, everything, right? And he's a net asshole too, this lieutenant. But he goes, all right, I'll see if I can get him out today. I go, all right, thank you. 2:00 comes around. It's the end of the shift. I see him. He's still down there. I call the lieutenant. And I'm like, hey, how come you didn't get him out? Oh, I never got a chance to do any hearings. So he wasn't going to make a special trip. And all he had to do was call the hole and say, let the Korean out. Okay.
Which is a 15-second phone call.
15 seconds. And I said the same thing. I put my name on it. I interviewed everybody. If I'm wrong, fire me. Okay. So, I slammed the phone. And again, everybody just let it go, let it go, let it go. I'm like, no, I can't.
Your south side came back.
So I'm walking to my car, right? And I walk right up to it. And all I can see is his face in my head, right? All weekend, all I could see at night, I'm trying to sleep. And I'm like,
see this Korean guy's face.
Yeah. While I'm trying to sleep.
When
I
you
can't
close
sleep.
your eyes, you can't. Yeah.
I see him looking at me, and so I got about to get to my car, and I go to open it, and I was just like, fuck that, So I was like, I start walking back to the warden's office, and everybody's like, hey, where are you going? And I was like, I'm telling. And they're like, what? And I'm like, let everybody know, because I'm not a rat. I'm not going to do it behind your back.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it out fucking loud.
Out loud. I want everybody to know I'm telling and why I'm telling and everything, because I've never been somebody to do that. You know what I mean? I don't even know how. So I was like, let them know. Let the lieutenants know. I'm telling them everything. So I go to talk to the warden. He goes, tell him I'm on the phone. Never comes out to talk to me. So I end up talking to a deputy warden, and she sends an email to the guy that I was supposed to do the hearing and says, Mifka's here. So, everybody knew I told. And so he ends up getting the guy out of the hole the next day, Tuesday. So he was in there for 5 days for no reason. But what's crazy about this story is...
Oh, it's crazier?
After I get back in the car, I am aggravated because she said I'll email him. So it's not like she's getting him out right now either. It's going to be one more day. So I drive about a block, and I'm driving faster than I should. And some fucking lady decides she's going to run a stop sign, and I smashed her. Totaled my car. It was like 2 days before Thanksgiving of 2019. And totaled my car, totaled her car. Her car flipped. You know what I mean? So that... And
Is she okay?
Yeah, she was okay. Yeah. Yeah. So I was out for the next month. Couldn't walk. My leg was all fucked up. I hit my head real bad. Blah, 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 blah. I started getting these real bad headaches. So anyway, after that, I was basically at my wit's end with the place, and I couldn't take it anymore.
Uh-huh.
And then they moved me out of the unit I was in every day. I was coming in and being a different place every day. So I didn't have that same consistency.
Yeah.
So eventually I just said, I can't take this anymore. I quit.